So, so welcome to my channel, and today I want to talk about something that I've been going through recently, which is a relationship breakup, and it's quite funny because today I really woke up and I felt that I was finally free, and for the first time in a long time, and I've actually overcame it because recently it's been really hard to me to actually do something and move on really because I will explain why, but that's just how it's been. And today was really the first time where I woke up and everything was fine. And I noticed like not everything was lost, right? Actually, there are lessons to be learned, and I want to share that with you guys today. So maybe I can help you avoid something like this, or I might just give some advice that might help you out right now or in the future. So that's pretty much what I want to do. So, three things I want to make clear is first, I'm not trying to make myself look good or bad, or I'm not trying to damage anyone's reputation. So, and I'm trying to keep things as private as possible because I don't really want to expose anyone. So, yeah, that's the first thing. And second is I'm not completely right in any situation whatsoever. But there are some things that this isn't really about being right or wrong exactly. It's more about truth. That's what it all comes down to. And third, some things I'm only gonna be speaking the truth. So some people might not be completely fine with it, and I understand that. But this isn't really about relationships, romantic relationships. It's really about any type of relationships that you're gonna find in your life. So yeah, just to make this clear before the video starts. And yes, guy, really, I want to make this about it's about more of an analysis instead of actually, you know, talking down on someone or anything like that. It's not really about that. And I'm not going to be talking about surface level things. I want to really talk about the higher level stuff that not everyone might figure out when they break up or anything like that. So yeah, I think it's pretty interesting to just walk through it. And as I've been through it, I think it's very, and I really thought about it. I think it's a good time to obviously let the thoughts flow, and maybe in the future I might come back to this video if I need to remember something. So the first thing that I want to make clear is that relationships, they really do change when you think about them in a way that how humans are built, right? So romantic relationships, even normal relationships, sex, anything like that, that's pretty much nature doing its thing, you know? So humans, they evolved over hundreds of thousands of years um, for this specific purpose, reproduction, right? So once you know that, that's very freeing, I would say, because you know that when you actually feel attracted to someone, that's not really something that's extraordinary, right? Extraordinary, sorry. And that's just nature doing this thing. Is almost like a trap. So you're basically born, and society is built all around this reproduction. So that's one thing to keep in mind. Um, it's very difficult because obviously when you know about something like this, but then you have hormones, you have your own mind, and it's very difficult to keep track of this all the time. But it's very important to every once in a while remind yourself about it because that's how things really work. And but there's a but to that, which is independent of nature. That I believe there is soul. People, they have souls, right? And it's not on the sense that's something like crazy or overboard. To me, soul is pretty much what people what they have aside from the body and mind. So soul of someone is pretty much something that's above all of that in in the sense of it's something that's a bit higher and is really difficult to get access to. And obviously each person has their own soul, and that defines how the body and mind will behave. So that's what I do believe. And yes. But yes, I have to say that there are some things that people don't like to hear, which is from your soul, you have from I would say is a mix between your soul, your body, and your mind. You end up with something that's called character. Character is I would define that as something that is very difficult to change. Right? It can be changed, but it's very difficult. You need something that's really traumatizing, I would say, for the lack of a better word. So you need something traumatizing, a very strong experience to actually change your character. And typically, after you grow up, you're gonna keep that character forever unless this very outstanding event happens to you. So um, I think character is something that most people don't have today. You can even look at politics, for example. People who the politicians, everyone complains about them, but what it is they're a reflection of society, right? And most politicians don't have character. So that tells us a lot about where we are in the world nowadays. So it's very interesting to make this analysis. And yeah. And the thing about character is that it doesn't always shows up in the surface. Some people, they have their own ego, and it's very hard for you to dig into unless someone goes through a very inconvenient situation when no one's watching and they know there will be no consequences. So that's the difference between people with character and without character. So if you do have character, if you have a good character, that means whenever whenever you are presented a chance of do something for your own benefit, but might not be of you might be taken away from someone else. For example, if you knew that you could steal from someone and you'd be sure that you would never get caught, would you really do it or wouldn't you do it? So that's kind of that's one of those exercises that tell you, okay, let's see what this person's character is about. And because anyone can look good when things are easy, right? So when things get tough, some people they just walk through it, they grow, and other people they just run, they lie, and they try to rewrite reality. That's what it is. They have this idea in their mind that they think they can get away with things forever, but that's not how reality works. You can see that happens anyway. People can get away for a long time, but eventually there will be something that happens to them, and it's not just me that's saying that, right? You can you can be a criminal. Eventually you're going to be arrested most of the time. You can kill someone, you might be arrested most of the time too, depending on where you are. And even if you don't get arrested, you someone might just get revenge on you and might want to kill you back. So I really think the reality is that's one of the laws of reality, right? Every action has a reaction. That's what it is. So if you act well, if you do good, then that's what you get in return. Not every single time, but mostly that's what you do. That's what happens to you. But if you do bad things, yeah, that's kind of how things work. You get bad things in return. And another thing about character that I really want to point out is that you can give someone love, care, opportunities, money, anything really, but that doesn't really change your soul. That doesn't really change your character. at least not in a positive way most of the time. And well, that's what it is. You can do whatever you want for someone, and that's one of the things that I've learned too. And I'm not saying that I did crazy things, but I did whatever was on my whatever I could, right? Whatever I could, I've done it. And obviously the character just wasn't there, and things didn't work out. Actually, worked out pretty bad. So yeah. And what's really mind blowing to me is that some people, they do have the opportunity to actually level up and to learn something, to be honest. They do have the chance every single day, and every single day they choose to walk towards the path of self destruction, towards the path of self rot, I would say. And you can only walk either way. You can never tell a half truth that doesn't exist. Is it? You can either sorry. So what I was talking about is that in the world there is a duality, right? So there's good, bad. There is truth, lie. There's lie and dark, and all of that stuff. And not being crazy, but if you look at everything, that's kind of what it is. You have everything works in this certain balance of good and bad, I would say. And you can only be on either side. You cannot be halfway on one side and halfway on the other side. Maybe you can, maybe you could, but if you're mostly a good person, you're gonna know when you walk in the dark path and you're gonna turn the other way. And same thing for people on the dark path. They might see that they're doing something good, and they might just give up on it. And it's very hard when you don't have character to change paths. It's not impossible, but it's just nearly impossible. And yeah, I really think it's mind blowing that some people, they are presented with the opportunity to grow, yeah, they choose not to. So this really reminds me of the cave allegory by Plato. And is that thing, some people, they just prefer looking into the cave walls. They think the shadows, that's everything that they got, and that's reality for them. But because they know that it would be really uncomfortable to turn the other way and actually go out and explore and see reality for what it is. So people, they just really want to stay in comfort. They don't really care about morals, ethics, anything like that. For them, it's all about selfishness, pride, and whatever else comes with it. So it's really, for people like me, it's very hard to comprehend that someone can be presented with such a good opportunity to just grow. It's not really about me. It's about really growing when it comes to the spiritual level, when it comes to your person, to your character, really. And yeah, because another thing about character is that you can definitely work it out, and obviously it's very hard to change it, but you can go to the next level. That's what I was talking about earlier. So changing is quite difficult, but having the traits that you already have and upgrading them, let's put it as that, that's definitely possible. And it's hard for me to think that people, they just wouldn't take the opportunity when presented. And another thing that I really wanted to talk about is that feeling of betrayal. That was the main thing that kind of threw the relationship under the bus, right? Betrayal. And it wasn't any type of betrayal. It was premeditated betrayal. So it wasn't a little accident. It was actually something that went on for weeks. This person had time to think about it. This person had the opportunity to come out clean. They didn't. And when I asked for the truth, all I got was more lies. So, and that was, I think, looking at myself back then, that was completely my fault. this person should have walked out, and I should have never seen her again, never spoke to her again. That would have been the right thing to do. But it's very difficult for me to, because to me, people, they have an intrinsic value, right? And it's very difficult to just tell someone like go and never come back. That's just hard to me because people have value and I have compassion too. So it's just, and I when I get into things, I really like to get them walking, man. That's what it is, because some people, they can just get into a relationship and they go to the next and the next, and that doesn't mean much to them. And if you do that, that's, I guess that's okay for you. But to me, it really is, and not only relationships, anything. When I start something, I want to make it work, like no matter what. I don't want to give up too early or anything like that. But looking back now, and from what I know now that I didn't know back then, I should have just let it go and done my own thing and carried on. So, but another thing that I gotta say is that this was actually a good experience, because some things that I knew, but I never really seen it happen in real life, if that makes sense. So certain concepts, which is pretty much what I'm explaining to you guys now, I knew about them, but I never really seen it in action. I haven't really actually seen it happen in real time. Let's put it as that. And now I do. Now I do, and it's going to be in my mind for so many years. I'm going to keep rewatching this, and next time I'm just going to know better. That's what it was. So I believe if I got into a relationship that was actually good for me, I could have learned some things, but I would not have learned and fixed everything that I've learned on this relationship that actually was pretty bad. It was just a trashy relationship. That's the truth. And you can really save in something like that, unless the other person changes, which is, as I've said, character is very hard to change. It's just not gonna happen. Things are gonna stay the way they are, and the tendency is to get worse. So I'm really glad things ended. I'm really glad things started in the first place too, because I've learned a lot. And yes. And back to the cave allegory, when you try getting someone, and when you see reality, and you, let's say you're the person who actually got out of the cave, looked outside, and figure out what really was happening, it's very hard to try communicate that with other people, and it's very difficult for you too when you um try to get people to see what you are seeing, because some, as I've said, some people, they prefer just to look at the shadows and that's the reality, and they find it out, which is, when you're already seeing what's outside the cave, is it's just hard to accept, and when you try helping these people, when you try dragging them out of the cave, they're not gonna thank you. They're gonna, in this case, what happened to me was, this person had nothing to say about me, right? She had to make up lies about me. She had to lie about me. She had to hide the truth from everyone. This person, and the funniest thing is that she knows that, right? She knows. Had to lie about me, had to hide stuff about me. I tried to help her as much as I could, and she claimed to have done a lot for me, but she didn't. She just didn't. And she did she did the bare minimum, enough to just keep me around, but she never really got out of her way. Obviously, she did a couple of times, but she never really got out of her way to actually ask why I wanted, or to do things that I didn't ask for, if that makes sense. I'm not going to say that she's never done that, but she did it a couple of times, and she did just as much as I did to her. So I actually did more, I would say. And but yeah, she claimed that she was doing always more than me, that I wasn't doing much, and it was relatively understandable, but it's just not what it really was, right? Because once someone betrays you, it's very hard for you to just stay around a person, man. When she betrayed me and I forgave her, people think the emotional weight is only on the person that's been forgiven. She has to make up for something, and she's like always anxious, like, oh, is this enough? Is this not enough? And I do understand a perspective. Yeah, that's true, but what about me, right? There's a law on the line. When someone does something like that to you, when someone betrays you deeply, it's just very difficult for you to trust that person again. To The weight is also on you, because you don't know what's gonna happen tomorrow. What if she just does the same thing, which is very likely? And that would be me being fooled twice. That just wouldn't be, that's a constant pressure on me too, you know. And I've done my best to try to weigh that, and obviously I had my own way to of dealing with it, but the other person, she really just couldn't do it with her part, which is something that she started. So yeah, that's just how things got. And thinking right now is, I'm just pretty sure that I didn't lose a relationship, but that relationship was gone ages ago. What I lost was confusion, disrespect, emotional chaos, and a version of myself that didn't have boundaries. And I allowed myself to be disrespected, and I allowed my boundaries to be crossed. And it was almost like this person would kind of disrespect me, and it would be like, I would just be like, call her out, like, oh, hey, you disrespected me. But then I wouldn't really do anything. And I would just kind of allow it. And you know how that guy got to a point where it was disrespect after disrespect after disrespect. And it just ended up the way it did. So, yeah. But now I see it for what it is. I think I've been way more peaceful recently, and truly ready to move on, because I realized that it just wasn't what I thought it was. I kind of like overrated it a little bit. I thought it was, oh, I love this person so much, and I'm gonna do everything for her, and we're gonna grow together. But we didn't grow together. It's almost like you try to plant a seed on cement. Nothing's gonna happen. For a plant to grow, you need to plant it on, obviously, earth, and you need to water it. You need sun. It needs fertilizer. I don't know, and that's kind of what it is. If you put all of that on, if you try planting a seed on concrete, you can give it sun, you can give it water, you can give it whatever you like, but it's not gonna grow. And that's what we were. And I think another thing that I've learned is not to, when you speak to someone, you never lower yourself to them. That's one of the things that I've done too. Never lower yourself, because that's really what happened, right? When someone lies, when someone pretends, when someone betrays you, and you try go down to the level to try tell them like, hey, this is wrong, this is this is not right, and what ends up happening is, well, nothing. So that's one of the things I've learned, to never go down your own level, never go below your own level. And so yeah, if growing as a person is just difficult, right? I think most people agree with that. It's something that takes time, something that takes patience, and something that's really uncomfortable. Just really is. And some people, they just don't want to grow, and they go down the easier path, which is what happened in this relationship with the other person. Not take accountability at all. Think that they're always right, even when even when they contradict themselves. Go against their own words. So pretty much the same as the second one. Shift blame, gaslight, and numb themselves. So I don't know. Some people, they have different ways of doing that, and that's really what I find most interesting. And at this point, I feel like it was I didn't actually love this person because of her character, because of her appearance, or anything like that. I think I kind of like fell into it, and it was more of pity love. If you guys know what I'm talking about, it was more like I saw her as someone that needed taking care of, and I didn't know I was signing up to be a babysitter, but it's just it's just it's very, yeah, that's exactly what it was, pity love. And I think I did my best, but it's just that's I didn't know what I was signing up for. I thought it was going to be a mutual relationship, so one side does as much as the other, and obviously each person have their own role in a relationship, like the man and the woman. But on this case, it was more like someone that needed help, someone that was kind of struggling a little bit, and I was like, hey, I think I can help this person. And then obviously there was the romantic side of it, but yeah, I think that's kind of summarizes it. That was pity love. It wasn't real love. So I tried talking. I tried to make things more transparent. I tried to. I I really tried my best to fix things. Right. I went out on my way to fix things, because the thing about relationships is that they never come ready. You have to work for it. You have to build things, and I really think she just didn't want to do that. She's just gonna find someone that's gonna agree with everything that she agrees with, that's going to give her everything that she wants and get nothing in return, and she can continue to be the person that she is. But that's not what it is, and I actually think we didn't match that much. But I think it's actually worse, because what's gonna happen is that obviously we just weren't on the same level. That's what it is. Level, not as value as a person, but I'm talking about on the same level when it comes to how awake to reality we are. And what's gonna happen is that she might move on. I hope so. And I don't wish anything bad to happen to her, but I just simply know it will. Because when a person is very seriously and and a person has very strong habits of lying, I just think that's gonna end up happening, attracting someone that's similar to her. So if you betray someone, if you think betraying is okay, then that simply is what's gonna happen to you. If you think lying is okay, you're gonna attract someone like that. If you think that not taking accountability is okay, cool. That's what you'll get in return. So I think there was a chance for this person to actually, because I'm not really trying to make myself look good, or like I'm the the bastion of morality or anything like that, but clearly there is a difference there, and there are some things that she could have chosen the right path to walk towards, and I tried to help her with that, but she just didn't want to. So what can I do? These people, they just live whatever is comfortable, but they try to avoid serious conversations and stuff like that. But this is not something you can really avoid. You can avoid for now, but avoidance always accrues interest. So for now it might be cool, but in the future it's going to hit you really hard, and that's typically how women process breakups too. So I think the first few weeks is just like cool, I'm alright, and then towards the end of the first month, that's when things start changing, and they realize like, what the fuck have I done? And then obviously after that, a few months after, and this is not just me saying, this is what I got from her. She actually told me that. She said, "Oh, I really like you because of this, and that." And those are actually qualities that not everyone has, and that literally wouldn't be something that someone just forgets too easily. And I definitely made an impact in her life. So that's not something that she can pretend to forget. She can try to forget, but the more you try, the worse it gets in the future. So yeah. But when it comes to me, just this was just a minor interference in my life, and I just really wanted to share with you guys so you don't fall in this trap in the future, and you don't fall for something similar. And yeah, but aside from that, guys, I'm doing pretty well, and I'm not going to use this breakup as some sort of hating this person. Although I really don't want any contact with them anymore, and I just want to make this clear because I don't want this type of people in my life. People who think lying is okay, lack of accountability is okay. I just don't want them neither as friends, or I just don't want to know them. I don't want to be near them, and hopefully never see them again. And I'm okay with that. And second thing is I really wanted to point out some, but I might just do this in a future video, right? Red flags and green flags that I've noticed. This one was like a fucking list, man. Like a whole page of red flags, and I still went for it because it's that thing that I told you guys is really about trying to help someone. So really what happened was I was taken advantage of on a surface level. We can put it as that, and not on a surface level. I would say on a mental and spiritual level. Yeah, that's exactly what happened because it was really draining to me, this relationship, and I all I wanted to do was make it turn it. I didn't want to necessarily quit it because I had already made my choice of forgiveness, but I just wanted to make things work. And like I said, not everyone wants to make things work, and that's fine for them. And yeah, so I might just make a future video on red flags and green flags. And aside from that, mm, let me think. Yeah, that's just not going to stop me. I'm not going to use this as fuel for motivation or anything like that. I'm just going to be indifferent about it because it's just that's not the right way to process it. using a breakup as, I don't know, walkout fuel, like that's just gonna, you're just gonna get burnt out, and it's gonna be you're just gonna crash much worse later. So don't do that, and just be yourself. That's what it's about. Just be yourself. Don't hate anyone. Just stay away from them, and do your own life. And yes, aside from that, I've been doing pretty well. Been working on my own things. Life's been really tough recently, but I'm not going to lose hope, and I'm always trying to go to the next level. That pretty much summarizes it. That's just not gonna stop me, and it was just a minor inconvenience. That's what I would call it. And yeah, now I feel like I've already processed 90% of all that. You just see my mind as, it remains in my mind as memories, things that things that I probably could have avoided, but I'm glad it happened because now I know more, and I know I've done my part. That's what makes me, every night I go to bed, I'm aware of that. That I've done my part. I try my best. That's proven. That's not just me saying. That's proven, and that's very objective. This relationship did not end up because of me. This relationship ended up because the other person didn't want to grow, and that's what it is. On to the next one. Now I need to obviously focus on my own health, my own work, and everything else. And I've been doing this for so long, which, as I said, this was just a minor inconvenience. I, I was quite a bit. I was doing things that I would typically never do, but as it is a relationship that I invested so much in, you really, you really, how can I put it? As it is a relationship I've invested so much in, it was just difficult to me to kind of accept that it was coming to an end. And but I mean, now I really, in the past few days, I kind of just processed it very, in a very good way. So today I woke up and I wasn't really thinking about it that much. I wasn't I wasn't doing anything that would lead to that would made my mind start spiraling into the relationship again. So I'm pretty glad of that. I'm glad I could overcome it. And so yes, really, that's about it. I'll probably release some other videos when I start training again, when I, maybe when I'm at work or something similar. And and yeah, guys, thank you for watching this video. If you watched to the end, and it was just more of a of a kind of just leaving this video here so I can come back to you in the future and look, yeah, man, that's when I really learned that. And yeah, that's about it. Thank you.